Hello, Colts Nation. What's up, No Horsing family? Welcome back to another episode of the No Horsing Around podcast. As always, I am one of two dudes talking Colts. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen Burton. And on today's one, we're going to kind of continue the fun little series me and Zach have been having, which is kind of potential quarterbacks for the Indianapolis Colts. Who are they? Who are some ones that the Colts could possibly be looking at? And every week every episode we've kind of targeted one. We talked about Jameis Winston and how that would kind of fit the Ballard mold. I talked about Jimmy G earlier this week and how that felt like a very Ballard move. So today we're going to kind of talk about another quarterback, one that's going to make a lot of people go, oh. And some of you guys are going to look at me like I finally lost it and Steven doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to the Colts. But before we do that, you guys, remember, like, share, subscribe, comment. This is going to be a fun one today, so I want to hear you guys' comments. I want to hear what you guys think about this quarterback. And if you think I'm no longer saying an upgrade, if it's a decent lateral move and if they could win with this quarterback, I want to hear from you guys. Please, you guys, make sure that you're sharing, you're subscribing, ding the bell. We have blasted past 1,000 subscribers. We're on our way to 1.1. Thanks to you guys. Love you guys for it. Like I said, we're going to set up. We're going to have some fun. We're going to do some sort of live stream or something along those lines to celebrate with you guys. But kind of without further ado, who am I talking about? Well, obviously, you clicked on the thing. It's Marcus Mariota. I can hear everybody go, when I say Marcus Mariota. Oh, I mean, I sit there. So we have several options when it comes to who the Colts are going to try to go out and get. Who are they going to look at? What is it going to happen? Who could they pursue as the quarterback if they trade away Carson Wentz or they release him, right? You've got a trade, which is mainly like a Jimmy G, a Derek Carr, Russell Wilson, pipe dream, Aaron Rodgers, pipe dream. You got free agency and you got the draft. We're going to get into the draft much later. We're going to talk about some of the quarterbacks we like, some of them we don't like. Zach's so much better at it than I am. He's really going to delve into that. Probably we're going to get through the combine, get free agency open, and then we're probably going to start talking about that a little bit more. But we've focused a lot on the free agency because it's really the most likely situation in which they can probably go and get a quarterback, right? You just got to convince them to come. So what is it that makes me want to talk about Marcus Mariota? So I'm not going to say that I don't have sources. I don't know people inside. I've been blessed enough with this podcast over the last year and a half or so to make some friends that are in different spots that I can talk to and kind of pick their brains a little bit. And Mariota, one of them I spoke with, Mariota was a name that intrigued him the most out of the free agency list. So I kind of said, hey, does it intrigue you enough that you think I should do a video, something on the channel? And he said, it intrigues me enough. So that being said, let's kind of look at Marcus Mariota. As Colts fans, we know him very well. Former quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, was the quarterback for the Titans for 5 seasons, kind of accumulated not a great record in Tennessee, 29-32 in Tennessee. Not great, not real great at all. Former second overall pick. I don't think he ever beat the Colts, honestly. He may have done it a couple of times, but he was there while we had Andrew, and that didn't really happen. 77 touchdowns, 45 interceptions, completion percentage, not great, 62.8, not horrible. The reason that we target him, the reason we look at him is he hits some marks in regards to what Ballard could look for. One, he's not going to be too expensive. Okay. And this is a pair for me. This is how I look at this kind of maneuver. He's not going to be too expensive. Living in Tennessee and following him, he has the character that you look for in the quarterback, that Ballard looks for in the player, kind of that upstanding character that person. Tennessee fans still love Marcus Mariota. They were sad to see him go. I'm not going to say they want him back because they're doing just fine with Ryan Tannehill, but he checks that box. And he's got some leadership to him. And I think one of the things that intrigues me the most with him is he's got wheels. He's got the ability to move the pocket differently than any other quarterback the Colts have had. Andrew kind of moved like Aaron. He kind of get to where he was going. Phillip couldn't move at all. Jacoby, contrary to popular opinion, was not a mobile quarterback. And Carson is mobile, but not in the way he was before the injuries kind of zapped him of that. Marcus has not had any leg injuries outside of him breaking his leg in his first season, I believe. He's had some nerve injuries, some dings up some ribs. We all remember the winter go home game that he didn't play in. Injury is a big concern, but he's got wheels. And I feel like he's a quarterback that could finally, potentially, really utilize the RPO in the way that Reich wants to do it. He can be dangerous with his legs. We've seen it in Las Vegas, how they use him there. He was a coveted pickup for them. He was a coveted backup this past year. A lot of people thought he was going out there to pull a Tannehill and take Derek Carr's job. That didn't happen. It would be very interesting to see him inside this, because here's the thing too. When you look over his time in Tennessee, he had several coaches. He had Ken Wisenhunt his first year. That's who drafted him. He had, he had, I'm spacing on his name. Mike Malarkey. He had Mike Malarkey for several years. He had Vrabel in his last year. He bounced around. He had offensive coordinator changes. When you look at, if we're going to talk about Jameis Winston, we're going to talk about Jimmy G and things like that, and you talk about Carson, and you talk about these players, you're talking about them at their best. What could they be? Marcus Mariota's second year in the league, he had 3,400 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 9 picks. And the team went 8-7, and they missed the playoffs. That's pretty dang good. Completion percentage, 61%. Yards per attempt, just about 7.9-ish. He's got potential. And I know what you guys are saying too, Steven. He's 28. He's still fairly young, but he's not a rookie. What do you mean potential? You put him in the right system. What could he do, right? What could he actually do? He knows the division very well. It would be an interesting pickup. It would. Is it a lateral move? Probably not even a lateral move. It might be a slight downgrade, but I pair it because the interesting thing for me would be, we've all heard, there are people who on my Twitter and in the comments have talked about Sam Ehlinger. And I'm very much debating, very much debating doing a video about Sam Ehlinger too for you guys. Is that this is what you could see with this. You could take a 1-year flyer on Marcus Mariota, sign him to a 1-year contract, maybe a 2-year with an opt-out after one. See how he plays. If he's not playing well or he gets injured, get a look at Sam Ehlinger. There are those out there in Colts Nation and the No Horse and Family who want Sam Ehlinger to be the starter in 2022. I'm not there yet. But if Marcus Mariota tanks and you bring in Ehlinger and he flourishes, oh, wow. Maybe you found a diamond in the rough. If he tanks, then everyone gets what they want, and the Colts get a high pick in the next year's draft and can go get their quarterback of the future. But is it worth a low-level contract? Potentially. And here's the last caveat with Marcus Mariota, you guys. He does do well with the dink and dunk, right? He's not the most accurate quarterback sometimes, but he can do well. He can get the ball out of his hands quickly, hopefully, would be what you're looking at. But here's the thing, too. 2 years ago, the Colts kicked the tires on him before he signed with Oakland at the time, Las Vegas now. They kicked the tires. They were somewhat interested. They wanted to see. He got paid a lot of money to go be the backup with the Raiders, and that kind of took him out 2 years ago. That was what? That was I think that was coming off of Jacoby before they signed Phillip. So they were interested, just like Jimmy G. This is another quarterback that is potentially out there. Jimmy G's potentially out there. Marcus is going to be out there, that the Colts have shown interest in the past. So don't barf on the idea yet. It's got potential. There's potential there. It'd be very interesting to see. The Colts have not had a quarterback with the speed that Marcus Mariota has still to run that offense. It'd be very, very interesting. I'm not saying it's my first move, but you guys, man, none of these moves are the first move anymore. Unless somehow they're working a deal for Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers. Y'all know those are the only two upgrades that I feel. You're looking at lateral or a slight downgrade. And that's kind of where you're sitting at with these moves now. We've kind of went over the lateral move of Jameis Winston and Jimmy G. Now you're looking at slight downgrades. What are you going to look at? There's great potential in Marcus. I think it'd be really interesting. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Like we always say to you guys, please like, share, subscribe, comment. I want to hear what you guys think about Marcus Mariota. I've had people who I've been blessed enough to talk with over the last year and a half who just kind of mentioned his name. I'm not saying that they're looking at him, but a name that intrigues them off of a list of Teddy Bridgewater, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Mitchell Trubisky. And the important thing, too, is that there is a slight history. Just like with Jimmy G, there's a slight history of slight interest from the Colts. So let me hear what you guys have to say. Comment, all those great things. Subscribe, ding the bell. We're working our way towards 1.1K. Love you guys for it. Keep on a lookout. We're going to have some cool videos coming out too soon. We might continue the quarterback series. It depends on what you guys are asking for in the comments. If there's a quarterback that we've not talked about that you want to hear about, let us know. Let us hear it from you guys. If you want to hear about like a Mitchell Trubisky or a Sam Ehlinger, or hell, if you want to hear about Carson Wentz, we've done a lot of videos. You can probably delve back into the files, but I'll gladly do another one. You guys tell me who, and let me know what you think of this idea. So I don't have anything else to say. I say it every time we come on here. I love you. I know Zach loves you. I'm out.